kind of set up different construct, what we're calling buckets, it helps us to think about things differently. So, for example, if I have a bucket that I know is intended for long-term investing, and it's not something that I'm relying on for my here and now kind of money, and I have a resource for getting me from short-term to long-term, whatever that is, let's leave that ambiguous for the moment, I might not be as worried about the volatility of the long-term part of my picture because I know that's its role. It's going to have some aspects of volatility, and I might not get as uncomfortable when that happens because that's my expectation for that bucket, a long-term bucket. That's going to be our investments. That's going to be things like our retirement plan and perhaps something that's a longer-term investment category. Now, we also have a liquidity bucket, let's call it the now kind of bucket, where we don't know from one day to the next what's going to happen with our needs, right? The car craps out, and gosh, now we got a big expense. Oh, the tires. I didn't know I needed new tires too. Are you kidding me? You can picture the sequence. Oh no, the roof. I got to replace the shingles. That's an expense. I might have unexpected things that occur. The fridge needs to be replaced or whatever. There are unforeseen expenses. We don't know what they're going to be, but we probably know that we're going to have them. And so we want to have a place for those unforeseen circumstances, liquidity. And it's a lot. Now, on one hand, people say, well, I don't want to have money sitting in cash. I'm not making anything on cash. It's true. You don't really make anything these days on cash. But what do you pay to put it on a credit card? And not if you don't have the liquidity to pay that off right away and pay the interest on that. That's pretty costly, right? For most people, that's double digit, at least, interest rates. So, I can do it on a home equity line of credit. It's still debt, right? It's a debt obligation. So we would rather avoid debt, and we'd rather have liquidity for some of these unforeseen things. And there can be different kinds of liquidity needs, right? On the one hand, we've got a vacation we know we're going to want to do or whatever it might be. We're saving up for something. That's one manner. Then there's the emergency fund of what if, as I was describing those kind of concerns. The event for the trip or whatever, that's just delayed spending, right? We know it's coming. We're planning it. That's spending and delayed spending. But it's spending either way, right? The emergency fund is the liquidity that we don't know what it's going to be, but we can predict there's going to be something, so we want to have a chunk of money. And we typically say 3 to 6 months of expenses while you're in your working years is a good liquidity bucket estimate. And as you get closer to retirement, we want to beef that up to be potentially 1 to 3 years of expenses, less your fixed resources like Social Security or pension or whatever you can predict is coming in. Okay, so if your annual number, just for easy math here, is $100,000 of expenses, but you've got $50,000 coming in between Social Security and pension, we need $50,000 up to $150,000 as our liquidity bucket. And that might be in the bank, that might be CDs, that might be, truly accessible. Or it could be, portion of it in that and portion into something that has maybe a modest level of risk. But then we also think in terms of a soon bucket. I don't need it today, but if anything were to happen, I want to make sure I have access to more, right? And so that could be some of the overflow from the liquidity bucket, or it could be just another place where that's low risk before we really think longer term. Okay, and that soon might have some investment characteristics to it, but low volatility. So mostly bonds, probably mostly CDs, or something that has some modest element of stock or something like that in there.